In this video, I'm going to review Clientjoy and show you how it works, what it's about, and I'm really excited to share the system with you. So let's dive in. Hi everybody, I'm Laney of Design by Laney. I teach creative entrepreneurs how to make money and run successful businesses, and such a huge part of that is getting a client management system that works for you. You often hear these referred to as CMS or CRM systems. Clientjoy is a new one. I have a whole playlist here on my channel exploring a bunch of different ones if you want to check them out, but if you're just looking to learn more about Clientjoy, you are in the right place. Before we dive in, I'm going to put a code in the description of this video that will get you 20% off if you decide to use Clientjoy. And I think we should maybe start with pricing because I think that's so important. A lot of these systems kind of start in the $30, $40 a month range depending on the different capabilities. What I love about Clientjoy is that you get so much even in their free forever system. So if there's just you, if you don't need custom domains, if you don't necessarily need to sync your email, if you just want to use them for kind of proposals and invoices, you get so many of these features in their free forever plan. And most of the other systems that I reviewed just have a limited plan. It's either a couple projects or a month or a week or something like that. So this one is free forever. If you're paying monthly, I love that their pro plan comes with $19 a month. It's a really reasonable rate to start out, and you can get so many things. 3 members, all of this customization, basically everything except the white gloving of the domain, which honestly is a pretty good deal at $4.99 for a lifetime. A lot of the systems don't have lifetime deals anymore, but you can also get the branding plus, which is $9 a month more, and will give you all of those same things. So if you want to do that, that's $28 a month, which I think is pretty reasonable, and then my code will get you 20% off. So let's dive into what Clientjoy is. If you're familiar with client management systems, this one is a really simple one, and I like it. It has a lot of features and integrations that you can use to make it more complex and interesting, but at its core, it's pretty simple, and it's got basically everything you really need to run your business and learn a lot. I like that the focus here is on learning a lot about your business and what works and what doesn't. So when you get into your dashboard, what I love is you can actually see all this data about where people are in the sales process, and there's a focus on the sales process, which is something I don't see from a lot of the systems. There's a lot of different currencies you can use. My Clientjoy is actually from India, so there's a lot of different currencies, and they're really focused on working in a lot of different regions, which I think some of the other systems that are based in the United States are less good at. They also have all of this helpful stuff down here for you, so they're really willing to listen to people with feature upgrades and things like that, and they often have feature upgrades. They just recently updated their PayPal integration, so if you use PayPal, then could be a great fit for you. So in the lead section, you can see, I love this sample data they gave me. It was all Game of Thrones, which makes me happy. There's lots of different sections here, and you can really focus on the process of booking, where you're losing clients, where you're winning clients, what clients are really liking, and you can pay attention to the different contacts and kind of give these little tags, which I think are really helpful. So you do that in the customer section. When you add them in, you can add all of these tags. And through the leads process, you can customize all of these different buckets and bring them through the entire sales process right here. Another thing is if you have a ton of leads, you can import leads from like a CSV file, which is something you can't do in some of the other systems. So instead of having to manually enter everybody, you can update contacts that you already have or leads from another system. So it integrates really well with a lot of things. Within this customer, there's so much information. You can see all of the activity that's taken place on their account. You can see all of their files, and I like that you can just upload files here for them. That's if you have anything PDF or use other systems that create files. I'm a designer, so I like to put my stationery designs. I can just upload a PDF of that here. And you can preview your client portal, which is really fun. This portal is really fun. It's a great place for your clients to log in and see all of the information that they have. You can brand this to your own business with your logos and colors and things like that, which is really helpful. When you upload the files, as the client, they can upload files, or I, as the business, can upload files, and then they can see their invoices and proposals that have been sent as well. So then if you want to create an invoice or a proposal, I'd recommend first going into this items tab and creating the different things that you do. So they had loaded in some of these personal branding things for Game of Thrones, which is so cute. And then I uploaded this one, which is invitations. So you can put descriptions here, categories, tax and costs, and all of those things. It's really easy to add an item. You just go to new item, and maybe I'm doing wedding menus. So I'll say, 5x7 wedding menu on house stock. And let's see, those are $1.50 each. We'll just not do tax at this point. You can add a category for however you want to manage this with reporting. And then what I like is the units, because when you're adding something, maybe you need to add hours and pieces for the same invoice, and nowhere else does that. Nowhere else allows you to really maintain that. So sometimes when I have to add design hours, curation hours for vintage postage, things like that, it's kind of confusing. I have to put that in the description. So it's nice for this item, you can put, pieces, whereas you could put, let me add a little design, we'll just do design, and then I'll put hours, because that's billed in hours, and let's bill me at $150 an hour. Great, so now we can add this onto the same invoice, and it's going to show up. So let's do a new invoice, and we'll send it to Danny, Mother of Dragons. I love her. We just won't talk about the finale of Game of Thrones, because we don't want to do that. And then it creates this beautiful invoice with all this information. So you can just click add invoice items, and you can always add a new item from here or search through. So design hours, so maybe let's do 10 design hours, and then their menus, which is going to be 150 pieces. You can tax, you can discount, you can do adjustments for various reasons, and you just add that in there. Within your items, you can also create custom fields, and that will be if you need anything except, item quantity, rate, or amount. So an example I can think of is if you're billing something, before the project is complete versus billing some parts that you're going to have to true up afterward, you could create a column for that, and then each item that you add, you'd have to select which one of those options when you're going to bill it, or if it's an estimate or not, and so put that on there. So if there is any information that you need outside of these things, you can add custom fields in that way. I really like how easy it is to split the invoice too. What I do is always a 50% retainer, and so you can just kind of select your due date there, and then you can do your other due date. You can do as many payments as you want, change the percentages, etc., and it automatically calculates that. You can also do recurring payment. So if we're creating menus for this company once a month, we can always do every 1 month, and you can send it forever or for a set number of times. So I love doing that for kind of payment plans that are more recurring if you're on retainer with anyone. Now, payment methods, you'll set up over in your settings, and they accept PayPal, Stripe, Razorpay, Instamojo, Square, Payoneer. And then when you do need to integrate things, it's really easy to get their API key. They provide that for you, which I find a lot of systems don't do, and let you kind of create your own integrations. But then they also work with Zapier, Pabbly, Integrately, Integromat, and SyncSpider, which basically covers just so many different apps. I think it's 3,000 more plus apps that you can integrate with just through these 5 different kind of integration platforms. So if there's something that it's not doing here in Clientjoy directly, you'll be able to integrate that either using the API or using one of these systems that's already set up. Also, like this client pages, you're able to add custom scripts and code. If you're going to use anything customized for your client. So you can customize your client portal, etc. You do need to kind of understand coding here, but I like that it's an option. And then you're able to also template some of your email stuff if you're using the email platform. So there's all these different things like automated reminders, split payment invoice, invoice recorded, all of these things that are available. And then you can just click into any of these with editing and edit everything. And they have all these merge fields. I believe this is only with the paid plan as well. But the merge fields cover a lot of different things, and you can also customize some of this. So whenever you want to write their name, your name, the sender's company, address, the proposal, amount, and URL, I love that. So you can just always add in all the different proposals, and like this one will fill in for each client when the proposal is active until. So whenever it expires, it'll say this proposal is valid until then. And of course you can change all of this information. These templates and merge fields are a great way to make your company seem like it's really personalizing all this information, even when you're not. You're setting these things up to do automatically when you don't necessarily have the time to sit there and type out their name and everything else. And it's a little bit more than your typical copy and paste template that doesn't have any of that personalization in it. Now, if you're still in the booking process, you'll want to send a proposal, which is kind of like an invoice, but in my opinion, a little bit more complicated for good reason, because this is where you're really selling yourself. The invoice is like, okay, we're already ready to work with you. We want to make the payment. The proposal is really showing them what you've got to offer. And I love what they have in here. So when you click on a new proposal, let's just give it a title. I don't know, title proposal. And again, I'm going to send it to Danny, Mother of Dragons, the unburnt, first of her name, I don't know, heir to the Iron Throne, etc. And they have all these beautiful templates that you can choose from with slightly different industries in here. So I like, let's see, I like this one right here. Let's use this one. And of course you can always create your own. You don't have to use the templates. So they've got some of these proposals in here. One thing that I will note is some of it, I told you this is based in India. Some of it you can tell with the syntax of the language. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you need to go in and kind of edit these things, but you need to do that anyway. So you can change up the whole layout of everything here. You can move anything that you want. You can change this text to where it says, you know, Daenerys Stormborn, but I'm not that. I'm designed by Laney, you know, prepared for, maybe I prepared it for Danny. So if you go into page settings, that's where you can like change this background. I can remove this and then replace it with my own image, and then your background color is right here. There's just a lot of things you can do to customize these before you send them over. We have our portfolio here. So when you go in, you can, this is the background, and then these are actually image blocks. So you can change the picture by uploading a new one. And I love that these are static even if you change the background to something with your own branding. They've got fields on here that if you want to leave this as is, those are the things that you need to fill in, but you don't necessarily need to go with that standard. And then your costs, they will have a, here we go, we'll have a pricing table. And so you can only add one pricing table per proposal. Since this already has one, you'll see that item is grayed out, but we can edit this one really easily. Just by kind of clicking, and then of course we can put in our 10 design hours and our 150 menus. There we go. And click save, and it will save that to our proposal. And then the amount of the proposal actually becomes a merge field that you can use in emails and things like that as well. So you can talk about this, and then we can put our you know, put our little payment plan there, and then there's a place for them to sign and you to sign. So that's just them getting all of the terms and conditions. Clientjoy doesn't actually have a contract section, but I think this would be a great place, since it does have a signature, that you can put all of your terms and conditions in that and make sure that they sign it and kind of treat this proposal as a contract, and then, you know, copy this item table or pricing table over to the invoice that you send out. And here's what that will look like from the client's perspective. It's really beautiful. They get an email with a link to this. Of course, that's not beautiful. I don't even have a title. It's just called title proposal. But all of this is really beautiful. They can see the cost, and then they can sign it here by doing an e-signature after they click accept. Okay, I'm going to head back to our leads page because this is probably my favorite page on Clientjoy, and I think that this is really the standout thing that Clientjoy is good at, is managing your sales cycle and your funnel. You can also click into list view if you prefer that, but I think the funnel view is just really productive and just gives you an idea of how many clients you're getting into these different segments. And what's fun is it's really easy to just literally drag and drop clients through segments. Sometimes you might have to go back, sorry. And they keep the counts updated and they update your funnel for you. So I really like being able to see that, as well as things at the bottom like the total that you have in discovery and the total qualified, and then how much you won and how much you lost. And I think it's helpful to see how much you lost, because then you can see, you know, how much effort you need to put into figuring out why you lost those clients and what you can do to further qualify your leads, what you can do to bring more leads in, what you can do to close the gaps in your process. So I think that's the big strength of Clientjoy here. Also, I love that their pricing is just super simple, free forever, and then your pro is $19 a month, even $28, even with all of that custom branding stuff. So you can actually have Clientjoy on your own domain. So it can be like designbylaney.com. And then everything can show up as if it's coming from me and not from an external system, which I think is something that some of the other systems try to do but don't do quite as well. And then also I love that they have a lifetime deal still here. Not saying that you necessarily need to make this big investment at this point. You can always try it out and move up to that point, but a lot of the client management systems don't have lifetime offers anymore, and this is a pretty good deal. So love their simple pricing, love this leads management, love the customers and how much you can really customize things, how easy it is to add items and proposals, and the fact that it's a really kind of simple product that does the things that it's supposed to do really well and integrates with a lot of other platforms if you need them for the additional things like contracts and proofs and anything else that you might need to integrate with this throughout your business. So let me know what you think about Clientjoy, what other questions you have. I have a link in the description of this video that will get you 20% off if you do end up upgrading to that $19 a month plan, and I hope you'll check it out. Thanks, everybody.